Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Trip Around the Multiverse with the half man, half vampire hybrid, the guy from London from his real origins, but we don't
Okay.
pretend it happens anymore. Kyle Charles, and
And and the yellow jacket who is not even Chinese, CY Chung.
and this episode we're gonna have a discussion about heroes of color in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're
Uh,
both
so
ourselves are
so
people of color. So
let me just start off with asking something. I don't know how far your comics knowledge of the Falcon goes,
yeah,
right?
a bit.
Do you know about Snap Wilson?
Stat Wolf Wilson.
Snap Wilson.
Oh, when he was a pimp.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
jeez. Okay. All right. Okay. I let you tell it.
I'm not too like. I don't know. Was that like a weird retcon? Because I remember
Yeah.
reading
Yeah.
the begin. I think it was part of Brubaker's run, and they're like, "Yeah, he used to be a pimp," and he goes, "Yeah,
Oh
I'm not
no
gonna
no
talk
no
about."
no no no! It's not part of Brew Breaker's one. It was before him.
Okay,
So way back when,
yeah.
do you know the actual origin of the Falcon?
No, not really. I just remember
Right,
when he
right.
didn't have the
I
wings,
believe
and then he went to Wakanda and he got the
when
wings.
Captain America was stranded on an island or whatever, something like that.
Yeah,
Um, Sam Wilson helped him, and Sam Wilson was like, had the connection with the birds on the island, or something like that, right?
yeah.
And then that turns out that's the cover story, right? Because
Okay,
he was a pimp. Red Skull used the Cosmic Cube to alter Sam's backstory
yeah,
to be the Falcon on the island sort of thing, right?
yeah.
Originally, he was a pimp for some reason. Okay.
Yeah,
And then they retcon that by saying, well, that didn't actually happen. That was also faked by Red Skull. So Ed Brubaker decided, you know what? Let's just consult everything together, right?
yeah. Let's get
So
rid of the stereotypes. Yeah,
yeah, he was Sam Wilson. He used to be Snap Wilson. But Snap Wilson like was a street hustler slash drug dealer when he was a kid,
yeah,
right? And then he
yeah.
straightened himself out.
Okay, cool.
So it's like, okay, we'll kind of fit as much in to make sense as much as possible, because you know how long it is between sometimes one record and another. So if it's
Yeah,
ingrained so far into your lore, you can't really.
yeah. Get rid of
Yeah,
it.
you have to kind of
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, but he just tried the best way he could do it.
I don't
Um,
understand why they would make him into a pimp. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah. It's like what?
that
What are you thinking of?
racist. But okay,
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
Um,
Well, I did not. I
yeah,
did-
yeah. Our boy Falcon's got a bit of a shady back. You know what? In Falcon and Winter Soldier,
yeah,
I thought maybe when they had Conrad Thompson, the
yeah,
Smiling Tiger guy. I
yeah,
thought they were just going to introduce it. I thought they were going to pull up the picture and say his street name is Snap or something like that, just a name,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Then you could just reference this as a joke for the people who know.
Yeah, that would be
Um,
kind of funny. But
yeah,
I
but
guess
then
they want to
again,
get
you know what?
away from.
How far do you want people to look at this stuff?
Yeah, I guess that's where like, yeah, maybe we should get away from that completely because I don't want people to,
Uh,
associate Captain America with a pimp. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. Do you actually collect any non-white superheroes comic
um,
books from Marvel?
ooh, I use when obviously when Sam Wilson was Captain America, I collected that.
Yeah.
Um, collected Luke Cage when he was solo, and then his series with
Wait,
Iron Fish.
wait.
Fist.
What years?
This was the year when the TV show came out. They all
Okay.
got their own
Yeah.
solo sort of series. Is yeah.
Right. Okay.
I started
Because
collecting
it
it
was
then.
I like the way Bendis wrote him.
Yeah,
Because I mean this was more New Avengers rather than anything else.
yeah.
But his personality was, I want to say, on point. Because way back when Luke Cage, oh geez, did you
Got
ever
Jive
read
talking Luke Cage.
like when he went to Latvia
Yeah.
to take his money back from Doctor Doom? Where's my
No,
honey? Where's my money, honey? That's what you said to him.
he went. Oh, wow.
So this is back in the 70s.
Of course.
Late 70s, maybe? Right?
Yeah.
Doctor Doom hired him for something. I can't remember what it was, but it was a double cross.
Yeah.
Then Doom went up to Latvia going, you can't do nothing to me, Luke Cage. And then Luke Cage gets S.H.I.E.L.D. to drop him off in Latvia, and he stopped all the way to Doom's castle for his money.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if S.H.I.E.L.D. dropped him off, but, you got someone to drop him off to Latvia.
Wow.
And it's just like, Latveria, sorry. And, it's just like, right, so does Doctor Doom fear Luke Cage so much? Like, what's going on here?
It kind of makes no sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know, but then his kind of persona is consistent-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, they toned down the rage.
Yeah.
And temper, because he's more chill now.
Yeah.
But still, he's like got the where he
he's got the streets.
Like, I see that
because but he's more like you're saying more.
As we spoke about before, he booted Elektra. In certain places. So but that's the style of the guy who would be from the streets to do that. Like take no prisoner style. You don't care about not gender specifically, but just like a fight's a fight at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're gonna do the most damage you can.
Yeah.
What other? I did collect when they turned Nova into a Hispanic character. I collected that.
Sam Mendes.
Yeah.
Right. So
Sam Alexandra, not Sam Mendes. Sam Alexandra.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wait, that doesn't sound like a.
He's half Hispanic, half Caucasian.
Okay.
Yeah.
I must have got mixed up with not something else, but I'm thinking who Sam Mendes is now.
Singer.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How was that?
That was really good.
So did he replace Richard Rider?
Yeah. Well, technically, no.
So was he the Carl Rayner of the Nova Corps?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Nova, quote unquote, died in Annihilation and all that, and he was in the Cancerverse.
Yeah. Richard Rider's Nova, yeah. Nova Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Nova, his dad was a part of the Black Nova Corps. They had the black helmets. That's why this guy.
Oh, no. Okay. When you said Black Nova Corps, I just assumed that because we were speaking about race, like a group of Black Nova.
Oh no! Literally, it was like the wet work.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And he found his dad's helmet, and then he became Nova. Then there's backstory to why his dad disappeared because people were after him, and.
Okay. So it was one of those that never existed before, but because we never mentioned it, it's like the stealth team.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
That's behind the scenes that nobody knows about, that we deny that exists.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Was it how was it done? Was it done well?
It's done really well.
Okay.
That was probably one of my favorite comics during that period. I think it was like, when did it come out? 2013.
Right.
Yeah, around then. It was like one of my favorite comics at that point. Yeah.
Okay. Did it stop, or did it just kind of?
It stopped, and then it became Novas because Richard Rider came back, and they teamed up for a bit.
Yeah.
And then and I think that
ended. Did they do a Hal Jordan with Richard Nova, and he just basically come back, steal the entire show, and just prove how great he is compared to everyone else?
No, they didn't do that because.
Okay, good.
Sam Alexandra Nova's still about. Richard Rider, I think he's sort of about now with the Guardians. So
yeah. Okay. Cool. Nice. Wait, actually, if they introduce the Nova Corps into the Marvel Universe, because as of this recording they haven't.
Yeah.
Who do you think should they base it on Sam Alexander, or do you reckon it'd be Richard Rider passing the torch on to Sam Alexander kind of through the movie ish?
It depends how they went about it.
Right.
Because they could always say Richard Rider is around now. You know what I mean? Because like sort of the Star-Lord thing, he got left as a teenager and nobody ever questioned it. You know what I mean? Sort of yeah. So they could easily bring him now and he'd be like in his 30s and then sort of introduce Sam at the same time. Like, oh yeah, his dad was one as well, but... Yeah, so it depends, really. If they were smart, they'll use both of them, but who knows?
Okay, cool. Um, did you ever collect New Warriors?
Which version?
Ah, okay, right. 90s version. Night Thrasher, my
Nah,
man, Night Thrasher.
that was before my time.
Okay, all right. Well, let me go through the Night Thrasher first. In when I was going for collecting it ish on and off,
Yeah.
and then you can explain. Okay, so if I remember correctly, I'll have to check. But Night Thrasher is basically skateboard Batman,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When skateboarding was the rage, and then he was also a millionaire. He had training to fight and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just.
Yeah.
I don't know how old the character was meant to be because he always wore a mask as much as I saw.
Yeah.
With a bandana, ooh, cool, right?
Yeah.
Skateboard, yes, jets on your skateboards or whatever. Yeah. So it was just.
I
Yeah.
think
But
he was
he-
meant to be a teen.
Sorry.
I think he's meant to be a teenager because all of the new warriors were basically like
Oh,
teenagers.
sure. Could have been 20s as well, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, he was the lead. To be fair, I think he was the leader or like at least one of the commanders for the the New Warriors. So he was a significant member. But it always, as always is, when they're writing black characters in that sort of era,
Yeah.
the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, they always like about the rage, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
you've got to, you know what? Just don't throw him feet first into situations
Yeah.
like that. He just takes like the way he's written. Maybe just let Len take a step back and analyze things.
Yeah. Rather than
Yeah,
fight now, ask later. Yeah.
yeah. But then again, they do that. They're not just with that character, with many characters as well. Just that you just notice more with the.
Black.
I want to say Black Rage, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. It's
Of
true.
the time.
Yeah.
Do you? In fact, there was a character called Rage.
Yeah.
You know
I was
that?
literally about to bring him up. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know exactly what his backstory is? I've forgotten exactly.
So basic. All right, this is how you know it's a comic. So basically, he was a teenage boy, and I think I might be wrong about this
Yeah.
slightly. His dad was a wrestler who did
Right.
steroids, some magic sort of steroids or whatever it is, yeah. And then it got passed on to him. So when he turned 15, well, I think it's 13 or something like that. When he got angry, he would bulk up into
Yeah.
Rage.
So the basics of it, I don't know exactly the exact backstory, but as far as I remember, he was like Captain Marvel Shazam, where
Yeah.
it's a kid that bulked up into a big black guy, like a
Yeah.
small black kid that bulked up to a big, but you know,
Yeah.
just like okay, yeah. So it was his gimmick that was his persona, like Captain Marvel was like, oh, is a teenage boy in the body of a massive guy.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't the best sort of gimmick. But he's dead now. So.
Yeah, look, they have loads of heroes. Like, they had Captain Marvel himself. They had Prime as well. You remember Prime?
Yeah, Prime from the Ultraverse, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is just one of the many characters that seem to be around that era because that's when Shazam, Captain Marvel, persona got changed into. You know, when he changed into Captain Marvel, he still had the mind of a kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of three that happened to be around the same era. Okay, you know, I don't want to say about originality, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you collected New Warriors when?
The recent one. It's about. I say
Oh, so
recent.
I mean, like, you never collected it back in the.
Nah.
Okay, right, fair enough.
Because when I started collecting, it was Scarlet Spider, Kane. I can't actually remember who else.
Because when you said Scarlet Spider, Ben Riley was also part of the New Warriors on and off, which is why I was sometimes getting in, sometimes not.
Yeah.
Back 994-ish, 93-ish. Anyways.
Let me just quickly check. Yeah, when I was reading it, it was Nova, Scarlet Spider, Speedball, Justice,
Speedball
and
Penance or
Yeah.
Speedball?
Speedball. Because this is
Oh,
when
yeah.
he was sort of flipping back and forth.
Okay.
And there were like 3 new characters, like Sun Girl and someone else.
Night Crasher's still there?
Nah.
Gee. Oh, it's a different Night Crasher.
No, it's Sun Girl, her name is. I don't know.
No, Night Crasher. Is he still in their group?
He, at the end of it, he came, but I don't know. whatever happened after that.
Okay.
Because I know he's back alive. So,
Yeah.
hey.
Did he die at one point?
Yeah, he died during, if I remember correctly, Civil War.
Jeez. Right.
Yeah, he was part of the explosion that started the whole Civil War thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's really weird? Because when when I was that time reading it, and you know when you go to the beginning of Civil War, you're like, yeah, but Night Thrasher would never, even though he you know he's like I wouldn't say necessarily fight first, think later, but he would never allow that explosion to happen.
Yeah.
Even in that case, you know, it'd just be like, look, it's stupid to run in there. Even that is like a whole level of different mindset.
Yeah. It was weird. But, he did.
Okay, fair enough. Did you get any like okay, you know when they started doing a whole set of comics with this is a black super, so we're just gonna slap black in front of his name. Did you get any of those?
God. No, the only one I ever
Goliath,
got was Black Panther. That's literally it.
Yeah, Black Widow, but she's not.
Yeah, but she's not. Yeah. What was it? I'm trying to think of them stupid comics. It's like
No, but here's the thing. I don't think they ever had necessarily, like you say, aside from like something like Black Panther, they didn't ever. They were more secondary characters, if you know what I mean. They're just support role characters.
Yeah.
I think they actually had an actual title for themselves most of the time.
yeah. It's just so lazy. The thing about it now, so lazy. Hey, you're black, so you're gonna be. All right. It's a silly example, but here we go. Black Lightning, like.
Yeah.
Okay,
Even
why
though
can't
he's
you just be
DC,
called
but
Lightning?
yes.
Yeah, you know, why can't you just be called Lightning? You know, okay.
You know, I just call him Lightning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just stuff like that, or it's just I've never understood it.
Yeah. I mean, look, unless there's two characters with the same code name.
Yeah, then fair enough.
Right?
Yeah.
But ideally, probably you go by the color of their costume first, because if they're covered up, you don't know what color they are underneath it anyways.
It'd be like if they called War Machine Black Iron Man. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Even though he's black anyway, so.
Even though technically he'd be Metal Iron Man because he's metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did you ever collect Iron Man when Jim Rose was under the armor?
No, I didn't.
Not the solo War Machine comics himself. I'm just saying that there was this time when he took over.
No, I didn't read those.
Right.
I did read later on when he had his own comic when he was War Machine, and then
was that the 18 rated not the 18 rated version? Sorry, the adult plus whatever.
Marvel Knights. Is it Marvel?
No.
Marvel Max.
Yeah, it might be Marvel Max. That's it.
Yeah, and it was sort of tied into the main universe or not, because it was going on during the ones I was reading. It was going on during, I think it was Dark Reign. So he was like half cyborg.
Oh really?
Yeah, because
so was it okay? Did it have a lot of swearing in it, or was it very violent?
it was just violent.
That's why it was a Max.
Yeah, because like basically most issues he was like losing parts of his body.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was basically like a cyborg.
Yeah.
And at the end, Tony Stark found a way to make him a new body. Yeah.
Okay, so is it basically saying, oh, this entire adventure happened, but kind of we're nullifying it also?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the point of that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I've read when he had a series called Iron Man 2.0, and then Iron Patriot. I read that as well.
Oh yeah, Iron Patriot, not Norman Osborn, Iron Patriot.
No, this is afterwards where he became Iron Patriot for a bit, and then he went back.
Oh, it was so they dealt with the fallout of what was it, Civil War, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
And then Rhodes was like, you know what, I'm taking that armor back as Iron Patriot.
No, this was like a good couple of years later.
Was
like a good couple of years later when they did it.
All right.
Because this was round about when Miss Marvel became Captain Marvel. It was around then. Yeah.
All right.
Because she appeared in the comic and they were dating. Which set up for him dying in Civil War 2, you know.
Oh, right. So they brought him back to how he was meant to be.
Yeah, for a good 4 years, and then they killed him. And then, say no.
Okay.
And then he brought him back. So, hey.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I will say the only time I collected Black Panther was when... So, there was a time in the Daredevil comics
Yeah.
where Matt Murdock, what happened to him?
He got to Shadowland, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just after that, then he got exiled from New York, or he left New York, or something like that, right? It was
Yeah.
on his Vision Quest or something.
Yeah.
And then Black Panther took over.
Yeah.
So
Black
the
Panther,
title was
Man
Black
Without
Panther, Man Without Fear.
Yeah, I collected that as well.
Yeah, it was quite decent actually, because
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
he got exiled from Wakanda,
Yeah.
and he kind of had to go by with the tech that he had already.
Yeah, he was poor.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he was living in New York as well.
Yeah.
Was that in the actual Black Panther storyline that was probably going on concurrently? Was it that his sister basically took the throne from him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why he was in New York City.
Yeah. Without the was it the heart-shaped herb powers, or did he have those powers? I
I
can't
don't
remember.
think he did.
Yeah.
I think he was just a normal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a good call, I think, because if he was super powered,
Yeah.
even if like he's peak human, Daredevil's enemies are kind of.
Street
He would
level
take
with-
them apart with it,
Yeah,
like,
it'd be
with
no
his,
point.
Black Panther armor as well on top of everything.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So they had to make him a lot like, because when you think about it, Daredevil, he's a normal guy as well. He's just
Yeah.
got like the X-ray hearing and all that crap. So
Yeah.
you'd have to bring Black Panther down to that level, and that would be making him no Panther power guy. So yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, right. Here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So there are quite a variety of black superheroes in Marvel, right?
Yeah.
What about okay? So the only significant Japanese, Asian hero I can think of, a superhero,
Yeah.
like okay, there's Shang-Chi, but
Yeah.
here's the awkward thing. I think he's actually meant to be half Chinese, half
Or Americano.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, half white, whether it's English white or whatever. But I think originally his mum was from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
One of the a Hong Kong resident. So she could have been like from America, could have been from Britain, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I don't think so. The Master of Kung Fu himself is actually, I think, originally meant to be half. But they might have retconned that by now. Who knows?
More than likely.
And the other one is Psylocke, who's British, Japanese, but not Japanese, but back to being British now.
Yeah.
Even though everyone
wait.
knows her for being Japanese.
So to go back to what you're saying, yes, in the original Shang-Chi, his mum was a white American genetically selected by her father. Oh, wow, that's by his father. Okay, wow. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he was right.
Notice how they say the father and not the actual name.
Yeah,
Because Marvel don't have the rights to Fu Manchu anymore.
yeah,
Actually, there's quite a bit of history behind that, actually, as you point out. So, they had the rights to Fu Manchu,
yeah.
a series of let me just call it as it is, but not very sensitive comics, right?
Yes.
Okay, but it might have been when you see these things now, some of them actually, when you read some, personally, when I've read some of these, I'm like, this is so outrageous. It actually is hilarious.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's not meant to be like that. It's just meant to be straight up.
You serious? Yeah.
It's propaganda, that shit sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll be like, man, they go well far. Jeez. No shame at all.
No.
But anyways.
None at all.
So Fu Manchu there. And then, so they had the rights to him for quite a while and decided, oh yeah, you know what, let's make the Master of Kung Fu Shang-Chi, and then he can be the son of Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
Problem is, they ran out the rights of Fu Manchu for a while. So then Fu Manchu, well, Shang-Chi's dad, they would always call him in the comics Shang-Chi's dad, Shang-Chi's father, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And he'd be in the shadows-ish, kind of, where he kind of is recognizable, but not really.
Yeah.
So then years later, let's just call him, I think they called him Han at one point, and Zhang Zhu or something like that. And basically said, okay, he's Shang-Chi's father, and he has gone by many names through the decades.
Oh yeah, that chestnut.
Ed Brubaker retcon there. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Fair enough. If you haven't got the rights to the actual name of the character.
Yeah, then...
Like Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins, you just pass the title on and on to the next person.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Or
Makes
the
sense.
person has different personas or names known through the years.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I could buy it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Yeah, buy it.
yeah. But yeah. So, what do you think about the Psylocke situation? Betsy Braddock, the sister of Captain Britain. Yeah.
Uh,
To be fair, I would say she's one of the more notable Asians in comics.
yeah, she
Except she's
is.
actually not. That's the problem.
No,
But
which
then I
makes
think
it
she's
awkward.
notable because she's not, and she is. That's the other end of it.
Yeah, I guess that's probably why they changed the bat now, isn't it? Because they've realised.
After about 20, how many years? 30 years?
About 30 years, yeah, yeah.
Well, I should have just left her at that case. But then again, you'd obviously have the people going. I mean, it's very convoluted. So if they were making a Captain Britain movie, they'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
right. I mean, that's good what they did with Olivia Munn in X-Men Apocalypse, where they
Yeah.
just were like, yeah, straight up, we know what you think. We know the audience knows what she looks like, right?
Yeah,
Don't bother making her British. Don't matter none of that stuff. Just
Yeah,
leave
yeah.
it as is. Don't make no backstory.
yeah, which worked.
Did you ever collect Runaways?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Yeah, I read them. I've actually, I had a pretty good cast.
yeah, it was quite like diverse cast-wise.
Yeah. So, okay, the basics of the Runaways is these teenage kids, right? They just meet up every like once a year or something like that. Would you say?
Yeah, their families, all friends. Yeah,
Yeah. And then they like, every year annual meeting, whatever, right?
Yeah.
What our parents do in the basements in the annual meeting, and I think one of them's like maybe they're swingers, right?
yeah,
But then why would you step down to the basement thinking that? You
yeah.
know what I
That's
mean?
even worse, isn't it? Like you
No,
got
but I think
issues.
they start finding other stuff. They didn't just jump into that. They're like, okay, something's odd here and there.
Yeah,
Let's see what they actually do downstairs, and then they find out they're like into sacrifice rituals and they're a bunch of supervillains and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and then basically, they have to run away from their parents, which is quite a good setup.
Yeah, it's really good with the twists and turns and the betrayals.
Yeah. And funny enough, I mean, like, I don't think it was a deliberate thing, but Alex, who was the leader of the Runaways,
Yeah,
then turned out he's a black guy, but then he turns out to be the betrayer.
yeah,
So it's like, oh well. I mean, personally, I don't think that was a deliberate choice. It just happened to be the guy who was leading them should be the betrayer for the twist of it.
yeah,
Just pick out a guy and go, him.
yeah,
Oh, he's black as well. We can also just throw that on top of it,
yeah. I don't think there was no like intention to say.
But then Nico, the Japanese girl, became the leader in X as well. So like,
Yeah. So ethnics are the leaders. So hey,
Yeah.
It
Did you ever watch the show, the TV show?
I watched the first season. I need to
Yeah.
watch the second season at some point.
So the little kid, the one that was the lady, the girl who played Molly was black, and in the actual comic she isn't.
Wait, what?
Molly in Runaways.
She ain't black.
In the series she is.
No, she's like Hispanic, dude.
Is it Hispanic?
Yeah.
Okay, am I mistaken? I was thinking, oh, she's the light-skinned black girl, but
Nah, she was
no,
Hispanic.
she had like curly hair.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's what threw me in that direction.
Hispanic people have.
No, but it's like I just for some reason went in that direction. I was like, oh, maybe that's an afro, but okay,
Nah,
but
she
fair
was-
enough. Look. What I'm gonna say, she's a 13-year-old girl. Why am I gonna look at her Wikipedia?
Yeah, no,
I don't
that's
think
true.
it's
You're not
reasonless.
gonna. That's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They changed her though, because she's meant to be a mutant, but they changed it for the TV show.
Yeah, I don't think they had the rights and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Which but then it's one of those things where, what do you do with the cat? Like, do you pretend it happened or didn't happen? You know how Marvel is right now with all the stuff that's either kind of we don't mention it, but doesn't mean it doesn't happen. At the
Yeah.
same time, we can ignore it.
Yeah. The great thing that they'd like to do, yeah.
Did you see Cloak and Dagger?
No, I didn't.
I wanted to check it out, but I couldn't. I never. I couldn't find it anywhere.
No, neither could I.
Other than paid services, you know what I mean.
Yeah. I wanted to watch it, but I never got around to doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So Cloak and Dagger, for those who don't know, is not a spy series or anything like that.
No.
Cloak and Dagger on the Marvel Comics version. So they were kids that were being experimented on.
Yeah, with basically two kids. I think they got into drugs, and one of the drugs.
Wait. Okay, which version? That's what I was going to say. Which version? Because they're slightly different.
Sure which version it is.
Like, I think the Ultimates version, they died in a car crash.
That sounds about right.
Experimented on.
Yeah.
And then they became powers. But you're right, in the comics version, they were taking drugs.
Yeah.
Who knows what kind of drugs, but whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they got magical powers through that somehow.
Yeah. And then apparently that's before the whole, because at some point they actually were mutants, and then they retconned that and say they weren't mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah, because apparently the drugs they took, it activated their X gene. That's why they've got their powers. But then they changed.
Well, here's the awkward thing, because they've done this a couple of times, right? Where they were like, okay, so they've always had powers. They could have been mutants to begin with, right?
Yeah.
They just happened to be taking this drug at the time.
Yeah.
So we didn't know at the point. Oh, we assumed it was from the drugs, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe they were mutants all along. Sort of thing.
Because they even tried that with for a while with Sam Wilson. There was a bit where he was a mutant because he could talk to birds and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they just swapped that in the rug, pretending it never happened.
yeah. It's very very random stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Wait, look, that's the wacky world of comics.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
And sometimes, unfortunately, changes that happen actually don't help the story that's been going on. It makes it worse.
Yeah, it pokes more holes into their past.
And then you got a whole bunch of people that try to patch up them holes.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you know what? Maybe you should have just pretended everything didn't happen and just continue with the story.
Yeah, but no, you just put more holes into it. Yeah. But yeah, back to Cloak and Dagger. Yeah, that was weird. Their whole, are they mutants? Are they not? They're not. But 10 years from now, we're probably gonna say they are again. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dagger's powers is she could create light daggers from the light force.
Yep.
That's it. That's and she throws them, of course, right?
Yeah.
And Cloak's abilities. Some big cloak that takes people into the dark dimension or some shop. Yeah. All right, and that's why they're called Cloak and Dagger. Like, all right, fair enough. They are by the names of exactly what they're capable of doing, and their abilities are on point. So fair, what I mean.
Yeah, and I think one of them, I can't remember which one of them. They technically can't die because of their powers, but I can't remember who it is.
Oh no, Dagger got killed in Maximum Carnage, but she came back. Is that what you're thinking of?
I'm thinking of, and I think they've elaborated on that yet again. If you time to do the light force, you can come back to. I don't really know.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. I mean, comics. Hey, look, we don't collect these. I mean, we only know from like secondary things. So
yeah.
We can't elaborate on stuff we don't collect too much.
Yeah. We only say that what we sort of think we know.
Yeah, exactly. So, did you collect Spider-Man 2099?
Yeah. Well, not the original. When it came back a couple of years ago, I was reading that.
So I've
always known about Miguel.
You never collected when it was actually 100 years in front of us.
No.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I did. So I'm never 100% sure because the guy's name is Miguel O'Hara, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2009. So is he part French or European or something like that, and Irish?
He's half Hispanic, half Irish.
He's half Hispanic, half Irish. Okay, that's fair enough. Right. Okay. Because I was like, I was never 100% sure was he an ethnic of some sort, because of the way he was not drawn necessarily, but I think he was coloured.
Yeah.
That he had, the standard Caucasian skin tone with browny hair.
Yeah.
So he could have just been to be fair, because it's how many years in the future, he could have just been, his parents could have immigrated whenever, and he just eventually got to that tone of skin and whatever. And he's
Yeah.
basically say he's a full American now. He's not actually part of his heritage. Is way past him ancestor wise.
Yeah.
Did they ever use? I mean, like when I was collecting, did they ever actually use any part of it? It was basically just an American with a, I don't want to say a funny sounding name, but non-American name essentially.
Yeah. No, but I think they elaborate on it because he picks the skull because of the Day of the Dead of the Mexicans because he's Mexican.
Oh, right.
Elaborate and he's
Yeah. I think because here's the thing, right? I did when he came back in the 2000s,
Yeah.
2010s.
Yeah.
I did collect it, but but he traveled back in time to the present time,
Yeah.
and he met his grandfather,
Yeah.
right? But they never noted that they were immigrants or anything like that. I don't think they pointed out, right? They were just already ingrained in America at that point.
Yeah, because from what I'm reading here, his mum's the Hispanic one, his dad's the Irish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that sort of makes sense.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, that does explain the Day of the Dead stuff. However, they don't seem to have used anything as part of his character in the comic ongoing.
Oh, I wouldn't know because I never read the original one, so I don't know if they ever did.
No, as much as I read, I don't think he did. They did. Yeah. But he's a cool character.
Yeah, he's great.
Because he's like the Batman Spider-Man, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just be silent and beat them up, beat people up, and people are like, why is Spider-Man not talking?
It's like, yeah, it's in the future. Everyone's jerks. What do you expect?
Yeah. I thought, it's actually a really cool costume as well. Did you know the white costume he got?
Yeah.
This is the really good thing about the white costume. It's the Day of the Dead skull, but also a spider.
Yeah.
I thought, that's a great design because it's like a hybrid design suit to make it look more like a spider because it's Spider-Man. Because his actual black and red costume's got nothing to do, don't look spider whatsoever.
Yeah.
But then that spider also looks like a skull on the white costume. It's like,
Yeah.
great stuff. Because it's like, this is actually a really cool redesign.
I like it as well because I don't know if you actually know this. There was originally meant to be a Spider-Man 2099 animated cartoon, but it was going to come out the same year as Batman Beyond, Batman the Future. So there's like, ooh, these characters are already too similar as it is.
Yeah.
And then it's funny how his latest costume is basically the Batman Beyond costume, isn't it?
Yeah. For some reason, it's got like jet boots and stuff like that as well.
Which makes sense. I was like, okay, it makes sense. He is
Yeah.
from the future, and he wants to be different from us.
Even though he's actually in the present.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that. Like, oh yeah, he is.
But it's funny because, like you're saying about Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis is more like Peter Parker, even though he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And Miguel O'Hara is more like Batman, even though he's Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like, the similarities.
Yeah. The reverse kind of.
Yeah.
Speaking of Spider-Man, let's go to the most famous non-white Spider-Man, which is Miles Morales.
Yeah, Miles. Yeah.
Yeah. Our boy's actually done quite good for a character that's only been around for like a short period of time.
About 10 years at this point, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like in terms of comics.
Yeah, short.
Yeah, and also in terms of like pop culture recognition.
Yeah.
He's getting highlighted in like the games and
TV,
the Spider-Verse
movies.
movie. It headlined his own movie essentially.
Yeah.
Animated movie as it might be. It was like, oh, you know what? They're behind the Miles Morales train, but he's not like being forced down our throat.
No.
Even though he's like half Hispanic, half black, and he's basically hitting all ethnic cylinders, right?
Yeah, literally. And like with him, it doesn't feel like his ethnicity doesn't feel forced upon.
Yeah.
Like like we're saying, like early, like Luke Cage, they trying to make him stereotype black, where
black man from a prison who got wrongly accused and put in prison and then broke out because of the experimentation that was happening.
Yeah. But with Miles, he just seems organic. So this is a cool guy.
I think it's just one of those things where the era you're in when you're reading it, and people are more ingrained to the culture now.
Yeah.
We go back a couple of years or decades or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They're all right as to what's happening as the talking points then.
Yeah.
Whether you say it's morally, ethnically, or culturally correct,
Yeah.
that's a different matter for the time.
Yeah, of course.
But now I think because they're introducing him now, like you're saying about Sam Alexander as well. He seems like, oh, you know what? He's just an ordinary guy. He's just a normal person.
Yeah.
Just happens to be black or white, or Chinese, or whatever you want to, whatever race. Like, okay, fair enough. You know.
Yeah, and I like that. I don't like being pandered to.
But it's also what's good with Miles is like he not failed all the time, but basically he was the underdog that you got behind him. Like, you know, he'd never get anything correct all the time, even though he'd kind of resolved the smaller things.
Yeah.
To give him enough achievements where you're like, oh yes, that boy's successful at what he's doing, but he's not the best, you know, all the time, which is great because you're like, okay, yeah, you can succeed, man. You can do it, boy.
Yeah, you get behind him, rather than we know he's gonna be awesome. Like Peter Parker. Yeah.
I mean, like, I liked how they did it.
Yeah, I really did.
Yeah, because they took their time, kind of, not necessarily building him, but giving him like enough, fleshing him out enough.
Yeah.
To be fair, he was in a way like if you were gonna make sense of all the stuff that was happening to him, he was fighting villains in the Ultimate Universe that had already tangled with Peter Parker. Which how many years? Maybe 2-3 years.
About
okay, so in the Ultimate Universe, Bendis, the writer of Ultimate Marvel Comics, Ultimate Spider-Man, basically said for every 100 issues, 1 year's gone by.
Yeah.
And I think it went by about 2 years or something like that, 200 issues plus at that point.
So it's 2.5 years, yeah.
Yeah. So if Miles was encountering villains, they've already had 2.5 years or 2 years roughly more experience than him already. So of course he's going to get beat up.
Yeah.
And he's 13 years old as well. So it's like it makes a lot of sense actually. Yeah.
Until the time jump, but
yeah. Okay. Where he suddenly buffed up.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Miles, what?
Even though it's probably like a 2-year time jump, but still, you got shredded. Yeah.
And I kind of look in the new Marvel Spider-Man movies. They changed Ned Leeds is not a Asian.
No.
In the comics he was the Hobgoblin, the white guy, right?
Yeah.
And Miles' best buddy Ganke, is a chubby Asian kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh right, but they just basically transplanted him over to Leeds.
Basically
for MCU Spider-Man. It's like, but when Miles comes along, you can't have two chubby Asian kids.
Yeah,
be the best
good because they can just kill Ned off.
Oh right, okay. We'll turn him into the Hobgoblin, right?
Yeah,
could always do that.
Yeah, exactly, and then you can get Ganke, and everything's all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think of Okay, so what do you think of what they did for Michelle Jones / MJ casting as Zendaya? In that? I mean, look, do you think it was necessary as not about the casting itself, right? But why just make MJ not MJ?
Yeah, that's what I didn't like.
Yeah, I mean, would you have had an issue, by the way, if she was playing the Mary Jane character?
No.
Right.
Okay. If they straight up and said,
would you have had her dye her hair red though, just for jokes?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
But like, my whole problem with that is like, you go on saying that she's not MJ for the whole first film, and then, oh, she's MJ.
Well, she's not Mary Jane. That's what they say.
Yeah,
right?
it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, like, she could have been just an original character.
Yeah.
Michelle Jones, that's fine. But then there's a sly nod and wink, like, I am the MJ of this universe.
Yeah.
Come on, just being an original character, you'd have been fine.
Yeah.
Do you think they apparently Cindy Moon's in the Marvel universe?
Oh, apparently making a film for her, ain't they?
Wait, so I'm not sure if you remember. The way back in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
there was one Asian girl who was on the is it a science team?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Cindy Moon.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they mentioned her or anything like that. Maybe in the credits or maybe they called her by Cindy
Hmm.
or something like that. But it's meant to be Cindy Moon, the girl with the same spider powers as Spider-Man. But because
Oh.
I don't think she had those powers yet. Because
Yeah.
if she had her powers and been that close proximity to Peter Parker,
Yeah.
we'd be
bad
getting a
things
whole
would happen.
different
Yeah.
type of movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, I would. You know what? I mean, look, so I'm not a fan of the Silk character because not just more like the way she's written
Yeah.
rather than anything else. Her whole thing just seems to be, oh, I'm bitten by the same same spider who bit Spider-Man. I also have the same powers. So I'm now in New York. He better get out of here. Oh, it's like, come on, woman. Yeah.
I personally have no problem with her powers are slightly different enough for me to be like,
Well,
cool,
no, it's not that because Miles Morales' powers are slightly different as well. I'm just saying she got the what we call it, the Jean Paul Valley push a bit too much, in my eyes.
I can see that. I can see why you'd think that, but I don't see it because they didn't really do much with her anyway. So it's like,
Oh, it's true, it's true, it's true. Yeah, it's true. But then when she got her own title, they did a lot of her.
Yeah, they did, but they did have everyone when they get their
I
own
think they're
titles.
just trying to kind of ingrain her into the lore and then make her own title. But it's like, sometimes when you have Batman characters that don't have their own comics for ages.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. Is partly is like, oh yeah, we're going to introduce Silk, and then at some point we're going to have her have her own comic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Uh,
bit lazy.
yeah, but look. If they, I don't know if they are going to make a Silk movie. They probably could put it off, but then at that point they would have had, I don't know, because then you have just several people with spider powers running through the universe.
Yeah, this is. But you
And
get that in the
this
comics,
lady,
so,
and the girl who's playing it might age out being the teenage looks by that point.
yeah,
Um,
true.
But then again, to be fair, Silk is not a teenage
No.
superhero, so she could just started her career later. I don't know how they're going to say it's the same spider that bits Peter Parker with. Probably just going to move on from that and just say that she got spider powers if they're going to do it.
They could easily. Well, they could get around it easily because they could say during she didn't get like blipped off the earth during the Thanos thing,
Yeah.
and those 5 years, that's when she got put into the bunker.
Okay, true.
Yeah,
Because
so
they
they
don't mention her, but don't not mention her.
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah,
Kind
and they
of
can always
makes
do
sense.
the whole like Mysterio bit when there was like all those background people that came in contact with like what's his name, Tony Stark. They did that whole funny bit in what's the second Spider-Man film called? Far From Home. Yeah, in that when Mysterio does his plan, and then you see everyone like, this is why this person doesn't like Tony Stark and blah 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 blah. They can do that with Silk. Like, remember this girl? She was in this scene, and then so
That's true.
they could easily do it.
Did you, what about the Immortal Hulk?
Yeah,
Amadeus
awesome
Cho.
Hulk.
Sorry.
The totally awesome Hulk.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. I mixed
That's
up
my
the title.
boy. Yeah,
I mixed up the titles, yeah.
I read that comic. I highly enjoyed that. I thought that was awesome.
See, I like the character, the kid,
Mm.
and then because he's what to be what is it the 15th smartest person in the Marvel universe?
Something like that.
Yeah, and he's only like 13 or 15 or something like that.
Not if he's him up now. He's about 15,
Yeah,
16.
and now he's got Hulk powers on top of that,
Yeah, makes sense.
and his Hulk has got like. I don't want to say gelled hair, but he's got a hairstyle where the other Hulks have just got messy hair.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, okay, this Hulk's actually taking care of his appearance, fair enough.
Cool. Yeah, he likes to look fly. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like,
Is it?
I
Yeah.
thought it was a bit weird, but then they didn't sort of do a hey, now we got Bruce Banner back. You have no more powers. They didn't do that. So I was like, cool, good on Marvel for doing that. Because normally when they bring back someone because of movies,
Yeah.
they sort of just write them out that being that character still.
Well, okay. So they had Rick Jones as the A-bomb or whatever at some
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
and they kind of just then what's happened to him since? You know what I mean?
Oh, he died.
So, no, but I'm just saying I get it because they just like at some point they're like, okay, so we'll change up something, yeah, but then
Yeah.
something outside the comics universe happens.
So we got to match up with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, once it hits being a pop culture phenomenon,
Yeah.
let's realign stuff. Which is why probably we've had Savage Hulk back for quite a while.
Yeah.
Instead of, I mean, like it must have been really weird when the Incredible Hulk movies were happening, and he was also Smart Hulk in the comics.
Was
Not the
it?
movie, the TV movies.
Oh, but yeah, no one cared back then. So you know,
Oh yeah, it's true. It's true.
no one cared back then.
It's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, it's totally. Yeah, no one cared. I didn't care. But yeah, it's
So I'm going to point out something in that Bruce Banner Hulk did, and you can tell me if Amadeus Cho Hulk also does the same. But
all right.
Bruce Banner always calculated, like subconsciously, the destruction that the Hulk caused. Like took into account everything around, and it subconsciously nudged the Hulk into landing or pulling that destroying stuff that will cause the minimal amounts of damage. So if he jumped up, right, he'd apply everything in his mind, and then Savage Hulk would land on a certain whatever, so he didn't just smash into houses and all that stuff, like cause a massive property damage and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't buy that, but yeah, I can see the convoluted logic behind that, but that doesn't work.
They're saying oh, it's all a subconscious thing though. It's like the calculation thing on the fly and everything like that. So when he basically tore the support beams off a building or whatever, right? The whole building wouldn't collapse because Brano calculated destruction. Realistically, the whole building didn't collapse because they didn't want the building to collapse, like the rioters.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Hulk killed a massive amount of people, right? But if you're gonna retcon it and have a genius behind the brute, then you're like, okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
I did think I read a comic, Amadeus Cho, when he didn't have Hulk powers, but I think either Shield or spies or something was after him.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
And he basically calculated all these little things.
Yeah.
So he could get away. Just call one thing caused massive chain reaction to another thing to another thing. Basically, Sherlock Holmes, his way out of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's good. That's good. That's kind of smart. Did you ever read when Amadeus Cho was with Hercules?
Yeah, I've read bits and pieces of that. That's when it was the Incredible Hercules, isn't it?
Yeah.
The book. Yeah.
It just seemed like I mean, Hercules comes off as a doofus in these comics, right?
Yeah.
But he's an entertaining one at that. He's not just like a plain idiot, right?
No.
But yeah, it's quite funny because it was like the genius, the kid genius, and the big old dumb.
Yeah.
Demigod.
The drunkard. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The lout.
Yeah.
Like, okay. That's where the Hercules thumbs up meme keeps on coming from.
Yeah.
Because I believe they were on Amazon Island.
Yeah.
And Amadeus is chatting up an Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, he's not really chatting her up. He's trying to explain something to her, right?
Yeah.
About the situation, right? Hercules is on the edge of the beach, and he looks up and gives Amadeus the thumbs up, and Amadeus is like, her.
Okay.
yeah, come on.
Sure, dude. All right. That's not weird.
Yeah.
Oh.
Actually, okay, sidetrack there, but did you ever read, so I think the same comic, Hercules had to impress the Amazons, the Queen of the Amazons or something like that?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not really sure if it's exactly the same comic. It might be an alien or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they had the old 12 Tasks of Hercules, but not like an amended version, I believe.
Okay.
And one task was about intelligence, and on the table was the chess pieces. And Hercules was one move away from being checkmated. That's how the setup was already by that point.
Yeah.
So he basically had to move one piece. He only had one piece to move, and he had to get a checkmate instantly from that.
Okay.
All right. And then what Hercules does, he does a James Kirk. Basically says, when you didn't like the rules of the game, you change it. And then he just flips the table over. I'm like, Okay, and then
Fair
like,
enough.
because
Okay.
then no one wins the game.
Yeah. The
And
carbon rush. What's it? Oh, I can't remember that. What's it called in Star Trek?
the Kobayashi Maru.
That's it. Yeah. Gotta do it
But
every now
then,
and then.
but then the guy who was playing with was no. But you were legit one move.
could've
You
won.
could have actually been done.
You could have won, dude. What the
yeah,
hell?
yeah.
Oh, he's
Uh,
an idiot.
Yeah, but that's what makes his comics kind of entertaining
Yeah.
because he's like silly.
Yeah.
Um,
He'd be great.
yeah. What about Ms. Marvel?
Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
Another book. I jumped onto it a bit late, but then I went back and read most of it. I read basically the first writer, W.G. Willow, if I remember correct. Yeah, I basically read most of all of her run, and it's really good.
Yeah.
She's a strong character. It teaches you about the Islamic faith as well, which gets bad negativity because of like their poor portrayal and other things, like 24. But
Oh, I will say also some people are a bit too extreme for my liking as well.
yeah,
But yeah. So you're saying, it represents it well. I mean,
Yeah.
basically, it's tasteful. Yeah.
yeah, it's tasteful.
Okay. Nice. Good to
And
hear. Good to hear.
she's an overall good character. I really enjoy her.
So about the Avengers game,
Hmm.
online game.
Yeah,
I think some people gave backlash onto the actual character,
yeah,
but I hear the online game is actually meant to be kind of average itself.
yeah. It is.
So it's like you can't blame the character who's in the game
Yeah,
because if it's an average game that you expected to play as the Avengers, and you're not, you're gonna get backlash regardless. I mean, if our boy Miles Morales was the main character, for example,
Yeah.
in the Avengers online game, and it's average at best storyline, and it's like, okay, we want to play Avengers, but we're not,
yeah,
he's gonna get flack for it as well.
yeah. It's,
Did you actually play the Avengers online?
yeah, I've got it. I've got it.
Is it
Me personally, I enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I haven't
Alright.
finished it because I've had like other things come in my life.
Is it meant to be buggy as well?
Yeah. Well, when I was playing it, it wasn't that buggy, but from
Yeah.
what I've heard, it's sort of like if you got the PS4 Pro or the Xbox One X, it runs fine.
Yeah.
But if you got like the older consoles, yeah, it's a bit of a mess. And I've got older one, but I never played online, so it was fine for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It wasn't the greatest game, but people just got I hyped themselves up too much for, yeah, this could be the best game ever. Built on
Okay.
nothing.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
It's one of those things. Yeah.
yeah. Any other comics that we haven't mentioned that you on Marvel side that you collect that has?
Not there's a lot of other sort of minority characters in team books.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you got like Sunfire. He's
Yeah.
a part of the
Who-
X-Men.
Who they've written as an angry Japanese guy?
Yeah.
Well, look, okay. First of all, let me just say, these like you can't expect everyone to have the same personas, right?
No.
So it makes sense sometimes. You have characters that do this, do that, and the personality is different. So I can get kind of like okay. With Sunfire, he seems to be like an exception
Yeah.
to all the Japanese they usually have.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fair enough.
But his origin is the reason why he's angry.
Yeah. Okay. So you're making even more sense. Go on, give me.
Yeah,
hit me.
'cause if I remember
don't know the
correctly-
exact origin.
Most of his family died in the a nuclear bomb, and
Right.
that's what made him super pissed off.
Did he have his powers by that point?
No, well,
But he didn't survive.
he
Because of
survived.
that.
I think he must have, but his mum died from radiation poisoning when he was young because of the whole.
Yeah.
And then he went to America.
Controversial.
Yeah.
Wait, this is original origin or this is retcon origin?
No, this is original origin.
Oh, jeez, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And like, so he moved to America, and his dad was trying to be positive and stuff like that, but he remembered all that stuff that happened to their country.
Oh,
And then
jeez.
he just he got inspired by his greedy uncle who was a gang member, and he's like,
Yeah.
you know what, F everyone, F America. And then he kind of went evil, and then he joined the X-Men, and he sort of was like, oh, okay, maybe America isn't all that bad, and he became good
Okay.
until he lost his legs. And then
Right.
that was later on, and then he became good again. I'm pretty sure he's good now.
I did not know that they were. That's pretty dark as an
Yeah,
origin.
it's
I
really
did not
dark.
know that. Jeez. But
And-
right, okay. So times moved on since then, though, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
In the real world.
Yeah.
So have they gone back to the okay? Magneto's origin being a Jew, right?
Yeah.
In World War II. The problem is now it's been 100. It's 80 years from that point, right?
Yeah.
And he was what, a kid?
Yeah.
So like he'd be 96 or something like that, right? He'd be well in his 90s by this point.
Yeah, at this point.
So they've always had that. Oh, he was cloned, right?
Yeah, or he's used things to keep him younger. You've always had that sort of, yeah.
Now, with Xavier as well, where I think they like the Shia Empire cloned his body or some
Yeah,
such,
he just
right?
jumps from body to body with his mind and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Sunfire,
I don't think I think they probably sort of pretend that never happened now.
or the origin.
Yeah, they probably changed it a bit because, like you're saying, if that's the case, because when was that, like 1940s?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he would be stupid amount age older now as well.
So they'll probably shift that at some point to say it's his grandmother. But
Yeah,
then when you start
probably.
doing that stuff, then you have to, and the time actually moved further on,
Yeah,
then you have to say it's further and further back.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a yeah. Look, I want to say I don't know what I can say about the actual idea of, and the execution of it, right?
Yeah.
But maybe it's a brave but controversial choice to actually use it.
Yeah, I
as
think
an
at the
origin.
time, like, yeah, this is cool. But then you're now like, we don't really wanna
yeah,
associate this with that.
exactly. You're like,
Yeah,
"Ooh, I don't know about that.
yeah. It's like, what was these guys in the 60s thinking to do
Yeah.
this?
Exactly,
Okay.
especially when that was so. That's why I asked you if it was a retcon, because if it was like relatively recent, you'd be like, right.
Yeah.
But if you do it back then and it's still fresh, and you're like, oh,
Yeah, I need to find out if what's his deal now. But yeah, there's him. He's pretty.
Yeah.
I've always liked him, especially he's like Age of
I
Apocalypse.
think when I've seen him in comics, he got on my nerves because he was like what we were saying about Hawkman before, where he's just like angry at everyone for no reason.
Yeah, that's his character. I was like, you can't go that
But
far.
it makes sense. However, you can't just mouth off. How to get anyone to?
Like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think they've changed that. There's also what was that? Karma
Yeah.
from New Mutants. She's also Chinese.
Who? Sorry.
Karma. She's part of the New Mutants.
Oh no, I don't. That new. Is that the more recent New Mutants?
No,
or
from-
was it like the 80s New Mutants?
The original New Mutants back in the day. So
Oh,
her
right.
powers is like she can manipulate your dreams. Yeah, she's basically like a psychic. Yeah, she's a psychic. Sorry, she's a psychic, and
Yeah.
she can like manipulate your dreams and all this stuff. And she's okay. She got a bit more.
Oh, it's Split Beast. Yeah. I'm looking
yeah.
at it now.
Oh, you know, yeah.
Oh, you know what I was thinking of?
Yeah.
Because I saw I was like, oh, there is an ethnic in there, but I didn't. Okay, so I was thinking of Mirage, Danielle Moonstar, who's the Native American chick, and I was
Yeah.
like, I do think there's a, but they actually the entire bunch of New Mutants are like there's only one American there.
Yeah, and that's Sam, innit?
Yeah. So you got a Vietnamese girl, got a Native American girl, you got
Yeah.
a Brazilian, and a Scottish girl.
Yeah, and later on a Russian girl.
Yeah. Magic, right?
Yeah. The demon queen, whoever she wants to be, whenever she wants to be it.
Yeah. That's the best way you're gonna put it, right?
Yeah, best way.
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
I totally forgot. Yeah, so they like I said, Marvel are quite with the ethnic characters. They're quite diverse with it.
Yeah. I mean, like when you like you're saying the new Uncanny X-Men, was it?
Yeah,
and they had they diversified the entire cast there with Storm and
Storm,
Warpath
Warpath,
and Peter Rasputin and Colossus.
yeah,
And then
Sunfire.
if you really want to push it, Wolverine because he's Canadian as
Yeah,
well.
if you really want to push it, yeah.
But yeah, no, I was like, okay, it's fair enough, and it makes sense that how's mutations just in one area? It's not going to be.
Yeah.
So, and you might have a more powerful mutants more around the world. So, yeah, it makes sense for them to be searching for team members that are not specifically in America.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And Marvel realistic, were the first ones to really do that. Like have a mainstream comic with like.
I mean, Nightcrawler was German.
Yeah.
Technically, he's blue/black, right?
Yeah.
Depending on how he's coloured.
Yeah, and also he is a demon, so yeah, that's a different.
Okay. I mean, this is a tricky one because it just depends on whose origin that you're accepting, and then whether you that's actually real, like you accept the retcons are real or not, or whether lies and basically Mystique. Wait, Mystique is his mother. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever know one of the original ideas for Nightcrawler?
No.
So did you read Days of Future Past? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And you know that Destiny, the blind lady.
Yep.
She was going to be Nightcrawler's mother, right?
Okay.
And can you guess who Nightcrawler's father was going to be?
Who?
Mystique.
Oh.
Yeah. Mystique was going to be a man and father Nightcrawler.
Okay.
But then when she turned back to normal, she's still his mother? What's going on? You know what I mean? What's the logic?
Because I think they end up using that for Rogue's origin. If I remember correctly.
Wait. That Mystique was actually a man.
Yeah, and she changed herself into a man, and Destiny gave birth to her. I'm pretty sure that's what they ended up
Am I
changing
mixing
to.
up my origins?
You might be, because I'm pretty sure that's what they ended up doing.
Okay, I want to find out myself. Nightcrawler, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're gonna type in Rogue on your side and see what. Okay, all right. Let's see.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they did because I know Blindfold's Mystique's child. Wait.
Yeah. Okay,
Not
maybe I'm mixing them up, but look, all I can say is, all right, fair enough. If I'm wrong, it's just when you hear about these things, you just attach it to the it's just like you don't remember because it's so outlandish. Here it is. Claremont's new plan was for the mutant terrorist Mystique and her lover Destiny to have been Nightcrawler's biological parents. Mystique, being a shapeshifter, would have taken the form of a man and impregnated Destiny. However, Marvel felt the idea to be too controversial.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but you're saying they actually did use it?
I'm pretty sure they did recently as well.
Shut up! That is just so wacky. I can't believe it. Like when even back in the day, in the 80s, when you're like, yeah, this is quite a crazy idea, and then you decide to end up using it.
Hey man, it makes sense, I guess. I ain't got a clue.
Right, yeah.
Well, I can't seem to find it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they end up doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then why is Rogue not...
Actually, wait, Rogue... Her parents did it... Alright, let's see what this is. I'm looking at the X-Men fandom page. Alright.
Okay. Yep.
Early life. Yeah. Parents...
You find anything?
No. I'm pretty sure this is a recent thing.
Okay, all right. I mean, I didn't collect X-Men, so yeah. When you told me it, I was like, well, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'll have to look further into this another time because I'm pretty sure they recently did this, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay." And just carried on. I mean, it's like, okay.
You just pretend it never happened.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I guess it makes sense if she can change her anatomy. All right, I guess.
But why would you do it? Why would you do it?
to be a father, isn't it? She wants to know.
No,
She knows
what
what
would
it's
you
like to be a
write
mother. Now she wants to know what it's like to be a father. That's why.
No, but why would you do it? Why would the writer go, yeah, this is a good idea?
I say about a lot of things in comics.
Yeah.
How does
Fair
that
enough
make
as well.
sense?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that.
As a little side shift to these things, right?
Yeah.
We're specifically speaking about Marvel comics that we've collected, but you know when they change an actor for the movie, right?
Yeah.
Race system, as they call it, right? Now,
Yeah.
I don't mind. I mean, you get the best person for the role. I usually
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What got me was Flash Thompson in the Spider-Man Marvel series,
Yeah.
right? Now, I don't mind the actor, right? Tony
Yeah.
Revolori, but it's more like that's not Flash Thompson who will
Yeah.
become Venom, or however you're going to put it off.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing that he was bullying, he was physically trying to intimidate a guy who could destroy him, and that's the kind of I want to say the jokes of the irony of it.
Yeah. Not. He's a nerd now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he could have been a whole different character and still pull off the same thing.
Yeah.
Because look, underneath the clothes, Tom Holland, Peter Parker looks unassuming,
Yeah.
right? But when he obviously was taking off his clothes to change into his other clothes, he's quite built.
Yeah.
So you could have had a physical bully. They probably think physical bullies are now passé. That's why they don't do them anymore. But it's just like, but I don't know. I mean, for Spider-Man, it works ish.
Yeah. This way it doesn't work. It's like I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, because it could have just been a whole new character, or someone other that was taking in the same school as Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's what we could have done rather than just attach a name to him. You're like, oh, okay, this is.
Yeah, because it's a bit too far away from the actual character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than obviously when they say, oh, okay, so he's Flash because he's hit the button first, even though he's getting the answers wrong.
Yeah.
And he's because he's got all this materialistic stuff. All right, whatever.
Yeah, that seemed like such a reach as well. Like, really? Come on, man, that's kind of lame.
I do have to say though, when Michael Clark Duncan was cast as Kingpin back in Daredevil 2003,
yeah,
I thought that was great casting.
Yeah, it's great casting. Like I said, I'm with you. If you find the best actor, yeah, go for it. But when you just race swap to race swap, it's like, why?
Yeah. What's funny is when they got Bill Foster in there, and in the Ant-Man and Wasp,
yeah,
and they just called him Goliath, right? They didn't call him Black Goliath,
no.
as it was in the comics.
Yeah, because of easy naming. Yeah, back in
yeah. But then again, is there another Goliath there? Okay, to be fair, I think at one point Hawkeye.
But I'm pretty sure that's afterwards.
Was that afterwards?
I'm pretty sure. I could be totally wrong. That's before my era, but
yeah.
I'm pretty
All right,
sure.
let's put it this way: if my timeline is correct, and they had a Goliath already,
yeah,
then they needed the Goliath to distinguish. But if he came after Black Goliath, if Hawkeye's Goliath came after Black Goliath, Bill Foster, why don't you just call Bill Foster Goliath?
Yeah.
And have Hawkeye as White Goliath?
Yeah. I mean, it makes no sense. Or just name him something else completely. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure no one was using Giant Man at the time. So like, okay, you're Giant Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an Ant-Man here, and he's not changing to be big, so you can be Ant-Man, right?
Yeah.
Right? No, no, I want to be Goliath.
And I would be Goliath too.
Non-adjective, noun, whatever Goliath. Just plain Goliath, right? Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Comics.
Did you say you collected Captain Marvel?
Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I did for a spell, yeah.
Was Monica Rambeau ever in that?
No, but she was in the Ultimates. Was it Ultimates?
Yeah. The Ultimate. Yeah.
No. There was a comic called Ultimates.
I just assumed maybe it's just because they just had the same code name, or they're both in the military, whatever, that they would be starring in the same book ish?
Yeah, they was in the same.
Or do they just really have nothing to do with each other as far as supporting cast is concerned?
Yeah, she wasn't in the Captain Marvel comic itself, if I remember correctly from reading it at all. It wasn't until they made the Ultimate. They made an MCU version of the Ultimates when it was like the smartest people plus
Yeah,
Carol Danvers. So it was Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau as is her name Wait, what's her name? Spectrum. Sorry, her name's Spectrum now.
yeah.
Blue Marvel, Black Panther, and it was good guy Galactus.
Good guy Galactus.
Yeah, he came Gold Galactus, the bringer of life, rather than the eater of worlds.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I thought it was just a second, lad, but I thought because you muffled a little bit. I thought you said Galactus, and I was like, "There's a black Galactus."
I wouldn't put it past them. But,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It'd be lazy to call him Blactus. All right.
Yeah, he becomes good.